Hello and welcome to Germany. You may be wondering why choose Germany for van life. Well, let me take you on a little adventure and show you why. I'm going to drive along the picturesque River Mosel, which is surrounded by vineyards on both sides, fantastic views and some of the most majestic castles I've seen in a while. It's like a real life fairy tale story. So I've just parked the bus on the side of a hill in the lovely town of Bernkastel, but just on the way down the hill into this town is a signpost for a waterfall. So I'm about to go and check out Bernkastel's waterfall. So Germany is predominantly a Catholic country, and I keep finding these tiny little temples all along the road. So I'm just going to go and take a look at this one. It's a bit treacherous on the steps. If I don't break my neck, I'll let you know. This tiny little chapel dates back to 1750. It's really quite sweet. So the chapel's name has been shortened over the centuries and it's now called Tinkel Chapel. Right, I've got to go down this super steep hill and I don't think you can see how steep this is in the camera, but apparently at the bottom of this hill is a waterfall. I can hear water, but I can't see anything yet. See what I mean? Oh, I can hear it. It's looking good over there in the distance. We've had enough rain, it should be absolutely immense. Wow. It's really lovely here. It's all wild forest. Beautiful stream. It's like fairyland. You all know I love a fairy. So I'm currently in Germany because I've had a few issues with my bus. Only very minor stuff, but annoying stuff. And that's that the winter wiper arm's broken. And because it's an old bus, I've had to order the parts from Mercedes. So I thought it would be a good idea to come to Germany, as I'm coming out of Denmark anyway, and find a Mercedes garage here to order the parts from, which was fine. The parts have been ordered. Trouble is, trying to find a garage that has space to actually do the work. And the earliest I've got is the beginning of October. So I'm going to bum around this area for a few weeks and see what it has to offer. But so far, I've been pleasantly surprised. It's obviously a very popular route along here. It's a lot of people doing some serious power walking. And then there's me hobbling along in a pair of practically bald on the bottom trainers because I really need to get some new ones. And everything's wet and sloshy and I don't have the best balance at the best of times. But it's okay. I'm enjoying myself. This is just one of several of the bridges as we follow this little route along. Look at all the moss growing up there on the cliff. That was a sweet little walk. It's about a 10-15 minute round trip and I'm heading back up to the bus before I can't breathe properly. Just about half a mile, 3/4 of a mile up the hill is Bernkastel Castle. So we're going to go and have a little look around. So I'm looking at the view of the castle and overlooking the Mosel River, or Mosel as the Germans say. And I'm also looking at the world's second longest uninterrupted vineyard, and it's second only to the one in California. I think it's quite impressive. Also, another very unuseful piece of information for you. They often hold the WRC World Championships in Germany and use these little roads going up into the vineyards as some of the stages. Just in case you are under the disillusion that it's all shits and giggles, I am knackered. I'm just going to head down the hill into Bernkastel and find somewhere to park up. Bernkastel-Kues is an enchanting little town along the River Mosel. It has roots that go back as far as Roman times, and it genuinely feels like something straight out of Hansel and Gretel. Look how wonky those buildings are. Absolutely fantastic. Check this out. Apparently it's for slanderers, drunkards and whingers. So the centre marketplace here in Bernkastel dates back to 1606, and just an interesting bit of information, that house we're looking at right in front of us, at winter time they changed that into a huge advent calendar. As you would expect in Bernkastel, it is full of coffee shops, lovely restaurants, places selling wine, which is obviously all grown locally, and hundreds of really interesting trinket shops. These timber houses go way back to the 1600s, and it's kind of amazing to think that people would have been coming through here with their horse and carts. All along the streets are vines growing, but this looks like a beanstalk. Told you it was a fairy tale paradise. Walking along these cobbled streets, it's pretty hard to believe that this place was once a fortified ward town. The only gate that stands today is the Graka Tor, which was built in the 14th century. It's amazing that it's still here, and it even houses a little local museum. Can you imagine galloping through here on your horse? It's the only gate that's remaining. Look at the detail, there's a little boy or little man stuck in the end of the drain pipe there. It's interesting to note how the town has historically dealt with flooding. Situated along the Mosel River, Bernkastel-Kues has experienced periodic flooding, especially during the winter months. Over the centuries, heavy rainfall and ice breakages have caused the Mosel to overflow, leaving the mark on the town. This is all the flood level heights, and that's quite incredible. I'll stand next to it and you can see. I don't know why, but the courtyard all the way around the church is completely empty. There's nobody here. I'm not saying the town's quiet, because it's not, it's really busy. But this little area seems to be hidden away. It's a lovely promenade right in front of the river. This is the old Bernkastel railway station, I believe, that's now used as a lovely cafe and restaurant. All the way along the River Mosel, you can get on these little river cruise boats, start about €10 per person. They all have different durations. Some of them are for half an hour just to the next stop, and some of them are all day long. I'm not going to bother doing one today because I am trying to recoup some money for repairing the bus. Let's jump back in the bus and drive along the river. So I've just driven along the Mosel towards a place called Piersport, where I saw a sign to say Panoramic Straße, and I've just taken a little drive up here and look at this view. It is so cool. I've just arrived at the Bernkastel Kloister. I'm not sure that it's open because everything seems to shut here at 4, which is ridiculous. But I have seen there's some cafes and things also in the grounds which do seem to be open. So let's kind of have a nosy around. There's a small garden area to walk around first of all when you come in. I lied, it's not that small at all. Gardens are huge. That was just a herb garden I was showing you. Idiot. This looks like the way up to the cloister. Oh, there's a lovely little fountain at the top. The old grape press is really interesting. Down in the cellar, it looks like there's a wine shop. Yeah, 12:38. Apparently the chapel's open, so let's go and have a little peek. Bit of a surprise, wasn't expecting to find this in here, which is a bit stupid considering I'm in a abbey. They've got a beer vending machine. Oh, that's cool. Seems to be a lot of the ancient, or not ancient, a lot of the old wine equipment around here, which is really nice. So it seems that most of the cloister has been turned into a huge wedding party venue. It looks very posh, but the area that's actually the museum for the cloisters is definitely shut at the moment. Like I said, it only opens from, I think it's 11 till 4, so you need to get up early. Right, I'm going to jump back in the van because I'm trying to find something to eat. But everything seems to be pizza and kebab, and maybe sausage and chips on like a stand thing. But I haven't found anything decent to eat. It's strange. But I'm struggling to find good food in Germany. So if there's any tips out there, anybody, let me know. And one of the really cool things about Germany is that there is hundreds of places to park your camper van, and it's called a Stellplatz. So they are only for camper vans or motorhomes, so you have to be pretty self-sufficient. And they average about 10 to 15 euros a night, and very often that includes electricity. Often there is showers and or toilets, you know, it depends, everyone's different. But they nearly always have somewhere to get fresh water and to dump your grey water. And it's a lot cheaper than a campsite. There's also lots and lots of Stellplatz in Germany that are completely free, and they're generally away from the heavy tourist areas. So if you go into town a little bit, you can normally find one really easily, free of charge, and they're generally pretty empty. So it's pretty standard to have somewhere with drinking water, and then that there's somewhere to empty your portaloo or whatever, bins, and then a thing on the floor for grey water. But what you're paying for here, 100%, is to park up right on the edge of the river without any hassle. I'm quite happy to pay 10 quid or 15 quid a night to stay here. But I'm going to keep driving along because I'm still looking for something for dinner. Breathe in. I've just pulled over at another little town. This one is called Traben Trarbach. Like this town floods as well. Look at those floodgates. It looks like there's quite a few museums and things here. I don't know what this big tower is, but look at all the bells on it. It's really interesting. It's probably going to be shut as well because it's now 5 p.m. and it looks like the world ends in Germany at 5 p.m. It's set in this really sweet little square. With a spring, but I can't find the entrance. Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair. It's another interesting little town, but there's quite a lot of shops shut up here. There's a really cool looking bridge here in Traben Trabach. Okay, so I found a restaurant. It's an Indian. You can't go wrong with that. That was a lovely Indian in a restaurant called Namaste. I'll leave a link in the description. I'm going to head off to the Stellplatz I was at earlier, which is in a town called Losnish. I'll also leave the link for that in the description. See you tomorrow. So I've just come up to the top of the bridge, which I stayed underneath last night in Losnish. I'll leave a link to the place, but they've built this really cool walkway, so I'm going to go and take a look around. So apparently this bridge was only finished a couple of years ago, and it cuts off a huge transport route, so it takes it right across from one side to the other of the Mosel in about 1k or 2k's, and it used to apparently be about a 30-mile route. Also, locally, it's called the Homo Bridge. Apparently, it stands for HochMosel Brücke, which means High Mosel Bridge. That's a pretty impressive bridge, but it is so windy. It's insane. Look at those black clouds as well. I think we're in for a rough day. That's a really cool walk bridge, just to have a view of the river. That was a nice quick stop, and I'm going to jump back in the bus now, and I'm going to start heading up the river and see what else we can find. It's really beautiful, but the weather is definitely changing. Definitely tell the summer's ending. So yesterday I was a bit hangry and I was moaning about the food in Germany, how I hadn't found anything nice to eat. Like I said, the Indian was really good, but I just want to say I cannot complain about the bakeries or the cakes. Look at the size of that. Absolutely gorgeous. Just pulled over in a little village or town called Neumagen, and there seems to be an awful lot of Roman artifacts and things around here, so I'm going to take a little wander around and show you. So this is a copy of a Roman plaque from 205, and the original is currently in the museum in Trier. It depicts the Roman tenant farmers paying for their lease. There's a lovely church directly opposite, so I'm going to have a little walk around and see if that's open. It looks like really old stained glass. I'm going to go and take a look inside, hopefully. Sadly, the church is closed, like so many I've found along this river. There's another Roman depiction. Apparently this one shows how grapes used to be grown in a figure of 8. Unlike currently, they are grown on big sticks. So this little round path here marks one of the corners, I believe, of the Roman fort. And there's more of these Roman reliefs. This one depicts a man and a wife having their dinner with 2 servants waiting on them. But there's just so much history here. I can't believe I only pulled over for a cup of coffee. And this one depicts the start of private tuition for children back in the Roman era, obviously for the rich families. And we're outside the second church, which was built in 1320, renovated back in 1710. Go and see if this one's open. No, sadly closed too. I think they're permanently closed, as it looks like the door's been welded up at the bottom. Going to follow this gorgeous flint wall down. It looks like it heads down towards the water. And this one depicts a hairdressing scene in 230. I think that's BC. NCHR. I'm guessing that's BC because it's Romans. See, like the total divvy I am, I was standing up there a minute ago next to that church looking for the fort. It was right underneath my feet. It's a gorgeous looking marina down on the waterfront. And you can park your camper van down here as well. That I'm not going to tonight, but it is rather special. The booking office for the Port Marina and the Stellplatz is an old boat. It's really lovely. And right on the river
is the replica of a Roman wine boat, which apparently they use nowadays to go out for a bit of a booze cruise on a Saturday. But it looks really good. Look at the holes up in the roof on this gorgeous building. So this is the old Roman road running through the village. There's all these tiny little cobbled streets up and down to the river. Some really cool artwork on a lot of the houses here. So the old Roman gate used to go across the road here, and it's no longer there, but that's the house that used to be attached to it. Well, that's the end of the video for today. I've had a great couple of days along the Mosel, but I'm going to be heading up away from the river now. As like I said, it's only 10 to 15 euros a night to stay on most of the Stellplatz along here. But I know if I go up and away from the tourist areas like the Mosel, I'll be able to find lots of lovely little towns and villages to explore. And most of the Stellplatzes are free of charge. So like I said, I'm on a bit of a budget whilst I get the van repaired. And I've got to hang around in Germany for a couple more weeks. If you've enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And I hope to catch you next week. Take care.